Hi, Laura Donnie here, and I want to thank you for stopping by for just a few moments. I have one goal today, and that is to give you something that will add value to your life. And that value today that I want to share with you is about how you can be a better healer, a greater healer, by doing one thing. You want to guess what that one thing is? It's called showing up. Well, when I started to write the book, my latest one, A Broken Winged Eagle, it was with the intent and the purpose to help the whole world. How is it the whole world? Well, because either the world is in a place of grieving or loss, or they know somebody who is in a time of grieving or loss, or they certainly will be at some point. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to minister to both hearts. I wanted to minister with that book to the person that's grieving, and I wanted to minister to the persons who are around the grieving person, but they just don't have any idea what to do, how to do it. And so this is what I found. I found that probably one of the most important and critical things for us to do when a person is going through a time of loss is to show up. Yes, show up. Here's the thing. Most of the time, people don't show up. I know, but I also understand why people don't show up. People don't show up because they're afraid they'll say the wrong thing. They don't show up because they're afraid that they'll do the wrong thing. And in their distress of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, they don't show up. And actually, that is the wrongest thing that they could do. I know I just made that word up, but I think it really fits. You know, what's really interesting, if you haven't already experienced this in your life, it will certainly happen if, in fact, you go through a time of loss or grief. And that is, the people that you expected to show up, they don't show up for whatever reason. And the people that you least expect to show up, they show up. It's fascinating. So what's really lovely about this concept of showing up is there are different ways to show up. You can show up in person. You can show up in a text. You can show up on a phone call. You can show up in a card. It's just important that within the first few days, you show up. Now, of course, it matters. The relationship matters. If it's a family member, hello, a text isn't going to do. You need to show up, right? So, and of course, I know that that's within reason. Sometimes families are far apart and everything, but definitely it would be a phone call that's next, right? So just think about how it's very natural to be afraid to not know what to say. I've certainly been there. You know, I served as a chaplain for over 8 years, and I have to tell you, there were many times I had to deal with very difficult situations. And to be honest, I didn't know what I would say. I didn't know what I would do, but I knew that I needed to show up. And so we had a client one day whose brother had been murdered. I knew that was going to be a tough one. And so I showed up, and I'm glad I did. Because here's the thing. What we don't often encounter is that when we show up, well, the Holy Spirit is there, He's present, and He will help you and He will help me, and we will become healers for those that are involved in that situation. Well, that's a whole nother teaching, and one I'd like to talk about on another day, because there is so much to be learned from it. But in the meantime, here's what I'll say. I am very passionate about the word of the Lord and about seeing people's hearts get healed. And if you have a women's small group, or you are running a church group, I'd love to come in. I would love to share with people how they can become better healers in their homes, in their communities, definitely in their churches, and on their job sites. So today, please tuck away this great piece of information. I know you'll be afraid when the time comes, but I encourage you, strengthen yourself and be present and show up. God bless you.